Since it's All-Star Weekend, well, first off, the video I just posted is just a piece of fun to poke fun at having fun. I want to discuss just a few news items that have been going on. Cody McLeod is picked up on waivers by the New York Rangers. A, it's a good move by the Rangers to pick him up, and B, it shows how far McLeod has dropped. He was once one of the few enforcers that could still score goals at the same time, and now it's gone for him. Maybe a change of scenery is needed. Hopefully he picks it up. Magnus Pajärvi picked up by the Senators. Hey, there's no risk. Pajärvi's been a half-decent bottom six forward for St. Louis. They had to make room for Schwartz coming back, so he's the one that gets waived. I'm actually a little bit surprised because Pajärvi's been a decent, serviceable bottom six guy for St. Louis. He'll never reach the potential he showed when he was drafted, but you know what? Not everybody does, and in his case, he's still carved out a half-decent career, and hopefully he's able to turn around with the Senators. He is a more, I think, offensively minded player, bottom six wives than maybe Ottawa wants. But you know, we'll see what happens there. This is as close to trades as we've been getting lately. Jordan Kyrou, St. Louis Blues prospect, is now being talked about a lot. So in that rumored Carey Price deal, it's just, oh, Kyrou would be going. So here's the thing. Jordan Kyrou is not a forward that, or I should say a prospect that St. Louis would normally want to get rid of. But there's some belief that they need to get a rental at the deadline, and they need to load up a little bit. And the Blues need a little bit of something. And he's somebody they could dangle out there who has decent value. He has some value on the trade market. I have my doubts that he's going to attract as much attention as people seem to think, but he's an intriguing name. But I do think there'll be other prospects that get mentioned beforehand. And apparently, and I'll throw this in here, Jeff Gorton and the New York Rangers are listening to offers for anybody who's not Lias Andersson or Shesterkin. Those are the two that are off the market completely. Anybody else, they'll listen. Maybe this is a sign the Rangers are aware they need to change things up. Does this mean that he deals one member of the core, or does he deal numerous members of the core if numerous offers come in? Ryan McDonough's name keeps coming up over and over and over again, and I don't know if I like the idea of moving out McDonough, but maybe it's the time. I don't know. There's a lot of teams I think that would line up for McDonough's services. It could be a very good move for the Rangers if they do that. But I want to end this off with this. Goalie interference. So I've had a lot of people talking about what is and what isn't goalie interference. There's an article on Sportsnet regarding maybe they should use the double IHF rule. The double IHF rule is this. At any point in time, an offensive player sets up in a goalie's crease, there's a whistle, and the face-off is outside the zone. I don't know if I like it all that much. I know... The one thing that I remarked the other night, you know, I'm watching a game, Yvonne and I are watching a game, and I'm watching the net just get thrown off and thrown off. And I said to her, I said, you know, back in the old days when that net was pegged straight into the ice and it didn't move, nobody crashed the net. Back before you could just push the net off its moorings, when it was actually rigidly placed on the ice, nobody went anywhere near the net. Goalie interference was not really a thing like it is now. And if you got too close, Billy Smith would hack you in the back of the legs. That's just the way it worked. I don't know what the solution is, because we now have a league where guys crash the net regularly. Crashing the net is part of the game, and it's part of a strategy. And there are teams you'll watch where a goalie's playing pretty well, and they run the goalie over. It doesn't happen as much now as it did, say, about 10 years ago. It was almost epidemic years back. But there has to be a dividing line here, and I think some of these calls have been bewildering because there's no black and white, here it is and here it isn't. It's open to interpretation. Well, yeah, the goalie was interfered with, but it was the defensive player who pushed the offensive player into the goalie, so therefore the onus is on the defending team. Okay, I guess. And I know that still causes the goal to get called off, but there's a lot of mitigating circumstances that I don't think should be there. There's too many gray areas. It should be clear. It reminds me of the whole kicked into the net. And when they went from a puck can't be kicked into the net to directed into the net, I remember that. Remember that? Remember when it was did he turn his foot? Did he turn his foot at all? Was he stopping to turn his foot, or did he turn his foot to kick the puck in? He directed it, but did he kick it? They took that nebulous thing and just made it distinct kicking motion, and it really took a lot of it out. Honestly, if a goaltender can make the save, it shouldn't be goalie interference. It should be that simple. Could he have made the save? Yes, it's not goalie interference. No, it's goalie interference. Here's the problem. You and I may look at the play and we may see it differently. Maybe let's just say Carey Price. Carey Price gets hit and he gets back up, and as he goes to put his glove out, the puck goes in. I look at it and I say, well, yeah, but he wasn't set. You look at it and go, yeah, but his glove was right there. He could have caught that puck. And that's part of the problem we're having, is that gray area shouldn't exist, and the NHL needs to sit down, and while they're fixing the offside problem we have, and honestly, I think if the offside occurs more than 10 seconds before the goal goes in, I don't think it matters. And I mean that. I don't think you should be able to dispute a goal because 45 seconds ago when they entered the zone they were offside. I think that's just ridiculous. And I think that's where the NHL is going to end up. I think they're just going to take a lot of that out. And it's going to be controversial, but you know what? It's going to make it so that some of these ridiculous, it's only an inch away from being onside, just gets out of the game. And it's going to cut back on these instant replays. And goalie interference, they need to be that steadfast. And maybe they need to change the rules so that players, while interfering with a goalie, cause the whistle. Any contact with the goalie, whistle. And then we can have the debate about what kind of contact, at what point do you blow the whistle, and we can have that discussion. But they really need to change the whole rule. They can't just keep doing it this way. And the problem is, again, because you and I will see the play differently, and look in the comment section, any review night that I do where it's, this goal shouldn't have been called back, and then somebody will answer and go, well, yeah, it should have. And we can't agree amongst ourselves. Referees can't agree, and coaches can't agree. This is an issue the NHL needs to fix. They need to change the rule. So I'd be interested to know in the comment section below, at what point do you think the play should be blown dead? Because the play should be blown dead before these goals go in. That's my personal opinion. The referee should be blowing the whistle before the puck even goes in the net. And then, do you increase penalties for goalie interference? Is it, if I go into the crease and I make contact with the goalie when the puck's not there, it's immediately a goalie interference penalty? Because that doesn't get called that way. And there's too many times where it's like, okay, I'm tied up with the defenseman. Oh, the goalie's right there. And then I might turn around and kind of, oh, look, I accidentally... I was right here, though, because I'm fighting with that defenseman. Take that out. Take that out. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It is unacceptable for them to go forward with it how it is, and it does need to change, but I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.